the data capture. So the next logical step is to see that how we can enter the journal entries in the ledger. Okay, just let me open this. Okay. So when it comes to journals, typically when it comes to journals, typically we have two broad types of journals. Okay, one is currency related journals and one is statistical journals. Okay, currency ones relate to IMF, relate to monetary values, and statistical ones relate to headcount, floor space, square feet, etc. Okay, so in some cases it might be important to track the head count or to track the square feet that has been commissioned, because based on those factors you could be creating certain apportionment formulas. For example, you are paying rent of, let's say, 1 lakh, 100,000 rupees, or 500,000 rupees or dollars or whatever it is, 50,000, whatever it is. So that is is to be shared by three departments. Okay, now the sharing could be on the basis of number of employees, or it could be on the basis of the floor space occupied. So if the IT department is occupying 50% space, they will pay 50% of the rent. If HR is occupying 5% of the space, they will pay 5% of the rent. So the rent divided by the floor space, okay, occupied, that could be one measure of doing the apportionment of the rent. So it could be for rent, internet, uh, broadband fees, and so on. So for anything that where you might need a count, okay, which is non-monetary, like a head count or the flow space, you can define statistical journals. All right. When it comes to currency journals, for currency journals, one can have single currency or foreign currency journals. Okay. So single currency journal is typically in the functional currency, or rather than single currency, let me see, put it as functional currency or foreign currency journals. So in case of foreign currency, you would have, uh, if the currency of the ledger is INR or USD, you would have the journal in that currency only. In case of foreign currency journals, you would have it in two currencies. Okay. So for a journal, we have entered value and accounted value of the journal value. So which means if you are entering functional currency, both of them are the same. In case of foreign currency journal, entered value is in the foreign currency, accounted value is in the functional currency. That is the ledger currency. In case of both are same, for foreign currency, entered value is in foreign currency, while accounted value is in functional or ledger currency. Clear? Now, the basic structure of a journal has three parts. You have a batch, you have a header, and you have a line. So you have a batch, header, and there are separate tables for each of these at the back end. So here you would have a batch name, have a status, then you would have a control value, that is, total of journal to be entered and total of the values. And at the header level, you would have a journal name, and of course you also have a description in both of them. And you would have a status, source, and category. Okay. Then you would have the period to which it belongs and the currency, which are entered at the header level. And then at the lines level, you would have the accounts information and the amount, debit and credit, and the account. Account information is the entire, um, the key flex field, accounting flex field information. Okay, so typically like 01 dot 000 dot 1234500, depending on what your structure is. So you would have that over here. Okay, now when the debit and credit is equal, we call it balance journal. Otherwise, if you are posting and suspense account is enabled, oh my god, oh, I thought Amit would join. Just 1 minute. Huh? I just messaged him. Let's see. All right, let's continue and we'll let Amit join. Uh, okay, so that is in short what we cover as far as the journals are concerned. So when we are entering these journals, we have to keep in mind that the debit and credit must be equal. Okay, let me put this point here. Uh, Total of debit and credit must be equal, and else difference is posted to difference is posted to journals, to suspense. Usually companies would not want anything posted in suspense, because that increases another round of reconciliation, and you're not sure whether your accounts are done properly or not. But best is, uh, that's why a lot of companies don't enable suspense accounting at all, just avoid people, so they're from entering wrong information. Rather, they would let them just enter the correct information. Okay, so when we enter the journals, uh, these are the basic information that is needed, and that will be tracked in the respective ledger. So now we'll go into the system and we'll see how the ledger transactions are carried out. Now here also, from method of entering, you can enter them manually, or you can use spreadsheets to enter multiple journals. Okay, so journals can be entered manually or through spreadsheets. And obviously, there are automatic journals also generated when they come through subledgers. Now when we go to the springboard, you will find there is general accounting, and then we have the general accounting dashboard, which is the summary for your all your journals. And if you want to go straight away to the journals, you can go there. So let's straight away go into journals. So the navigation is general accounting journals. So we can note it here. Okay, so here from the journal perspective, there are three tabs here. One is the one that requires attention, income incomplete and import errors. So based on what you want to do, you can either go here, review the incomplete ones and make uh, make the changes and import it, or things that require your attention, you can rectify that, or you can go to the task panel and straight away go to the tasks that you want to do. Okay, so there are a host of activities here. That's where we'll go. One more thing, there is data access set here. Okay, so the data access set um, determines which ledger into which you are going to be entering. So if you have access to multiple ledgers, you can change that from one ledger to another ledger and enter your information. Okay, so whichever one you want to define, you can choose that ledger, and provided you have access to it, and enter it against that particular ledger. So from here we'll now go to the journals. So typically you have the manage journals to search for a journal and make changes or do actions, review the journals, or you can create the journal. So even if you see this journal batch that you see here, it is not mandatory. Okay, so even if you don't enter anything, system behind the scene goes and creates the journal batch for you. So you may enter something or you may not enter something. So we'll say SP batch 1, let's say. You can have a description, actual, and the accounting period for which it is being entered. And here you have the journal where you are entering the name of the journal. So it could be anything like, uh, airfare, or expenses, or depending how you want to demonstrate it. Okay, so we have SP journal and the ledger to which you are posting. Okay, depending on your access, again access set will have combination of ledgers, so you might have more than one ledger here. And the accounting date, the accounting date would imply which period it falls under and what source category of information you are entering. So it could be anything like adjustment, or addition, or let's say adjustment for now. And this is the conversion related information that we enter here. Now we are entering it in the journal, in the ledger currency, so it's going to be USD. And we have the journal lines. So this is the account information, debit, credit, and this is entered. So by default we had said entered and accounted is going to be the same for the ledger currency journals. In case of foreign currency, we'll see the another set of fields will open up for um, the accounted part. So for now, we'll enter the account information. So let's say we are entering 1000, and while this happens, let me just make a correction here. Uh, Add inventory source. Source and period is here, and here we have the accounting date. Okay. So now, once this is done, we will go and put in 1000. So what we see is debit and credit are matching up, and we have entered. So this is a balance journal. Next step is to save it. If you want to continue with it, you can say the next step is to complete it. Means you are done with the journals, all things are entered properly, okay, and your journal is now completed. Once you complete it, then you are ready to post it. So posting is the point where it will go and update your balance, right? So till you post it, the balance is not updated. Only after you post a journal will it go and hit your account. Okay. So if you look here, you will see quarter to date, let's say. This is relating to the account that we have entered so far, 11104 and 222 22180. So 11104, this is the 11104 account. So if you see here, beginning activity is nothing. Activity here so far is 0. Line 2 is 1000 credit that has been entered. And if you come to line 1, you will find this. This is the this is 22180. So before activity, that is before this particular journal, there has been an activity of 547, and line 1 we are entering is 1000. So at this point, you will notice the batch status says unposted. That means the journal has been entered, but it has not yet been posted to the account, respective account. So we'll go and post it. So posting runs a process which will validate the journal, and you can also have this sort of approvals enabled, which will say what is the approval status, and until the journal is approved, you will not be able to post it depending on the situation. So in a lot of these cases, the journal is auto approved as well. Otherwise, we'll have to go to the respective user and whoever has access and approve it. We can save and leave it for now. Wait for it to get approved. Okay. So if you want to go and review the journal, we can go to this manage journals this time and query our journal based on different information that we have entered. So let's go and search for it. So this is the period for which we have entered, and we can say SP. Okay, so this is the journal and the batch status currently is unposted. Okay, and when you click on this, okay, so approval status has now changed to in process. Let's see if we can, this approve is enabled. Okay, you're not the approver, and let's see. Hi Amit. Hi Amit.
Hi, Saurabh. Good
So
morning.
good morning. You were having some issues because I thought you had joined 15-20 minutes back, and then I realized you had not joined.
Yeah, actually, I was trying, but I thought that the class is not started. That's why I.
Oh, no, no, we had started, and then I saw your message that you are waiting to join. I clicked admit also, and I thought you had joined. I didn't double check. I should have double checked. After some time, I saw another message saying Amit is waiting.
Okay.
Sorry about that. So
Yeah, it's
today we are talking about journals. Okay, how we enter the journals manually and how different types of journals that you can have. So we just entered our first journal, which was a currency journal in the ledger currency.
okay.
So we'll now go log or sign out and go in as the approver. Let's see. There's another user, Casey Brown. So you can later on use that for approvals. let me do something. Let me go to Casey Brown and update the password. So we'll go to the journal and check if the Casey can approve that. So So this is the work list from where we can check. Uh, oh, oh, okay. We'll have to rectify that. Okay. So going back to journals, what we entered was the normal currency journal. Next, we'll see the statistical journal. So when we create a journal, okay, so we are now entering the SP batch 2, and over here next to the currency you will find there is an option for statistical as well. Okay, we often call it as stat journal, so statistical journal. So here you can say SP stat journal. So basically it's a number that you are specifying. So maybe for every department you could have a separate set of numbers. It could be head count, or it could be a floor space that you are entering, and we can change the cost center. let's say US operations, headcount was increased. Okay, you have different centers. So let's say, uh, so from HR, you have received, okay, and same way you would complete it, and okay, it's a head count, so you can have it as head count. Complete it. Similarly, post it. Okay, so process is identical every time you enter a journal. So based on different parameters, you it would behave in a different manner. So after this, we'll now enter another journal which will be in a foreign currency. So this is our SP batch 3, foreign currency batch. Now here you one batch can have multiple journals, and each journal can have multiple lines. Foreign currency journal, and accounting date, and you can put a category, say adjustment. Now over here, since it's a foreign currency, we can have let's say euro. Conversion types, typically the most common ones that we have are spot, currency, corporate, and user. Spot means it's a daily changing rate, so the rate will vary. It could be multiple times during the day, or as and when you're doing the transaction. Corporate corporate conversion rates are typical rates that are provided by the bank to a particular corporate based on certain pre-agreed norms. So for the entire month, or for the entire week, or for a particular day, they will give you a fixed amount, irrespective of what the variations in the currency market may be. So to spot and currency, the rates, currency conversion rates have to be in the system as of that date. Only then will the system allow you to do the foreign currency conversion. So like you see here, we have the foreign current the conversion rate is showing up as 1.132077, which means this rate is already defined in the system. Now, if you have people who are traveling, right? Someone goes and today they are doing one rate, tomorrow they are doing one rate, so there could be different rates. So in that case, you could also use a user defined rate where the user can enter the conversion rate as per the value that they have spent. Okay, so based on the conversion rate, you would get the inverse, that is 1 point, the reverse. So US euro to USD, USD to euro. Now here you again have the account information, and notice here you get two things. One is entered, which is in the transaction currency, and accounted, which is in the ledger currency. So when we enter the information, so the corresponding converted amount would be posted. Then we come to the next line. Okay. So my entered and accounted debit and credit is coming up. So I'll go to the top. I'll say complete. So that's completed. Now, along with this FC journal, I will also create one more journal here. So there's only one batch, but now we'll have two journals. Second foreign currency journal. So the default, you'll get the corporate. Let's keep the corporate one for now. And so for this particular one, I'll just have one line. I'll intentionally not put in anything else. We'll see the impact of this. So now I have only one line. So my debit only is showing up as 1000. That is what I have entered. I'll save this. Okay. See the message that comes up. It it says that the code combination ID journal line must be entered, and the debit and the credit amount must be entered. So we'll go back here, and let's say I'll put it as 800. So still there is a mismatch. It gives you a message asking for a confirmation that the debit and credit are not equal. Do you want to continue? If you say yes, then you can send it for posting. Okay. So now we have got two journals here, foreign currency journal and foreign currency journal 2. Now see that this one is 1000, this one is 800, but it has gone for posting. So what we'll do is, the other reason could be, since this is the standard user, there is no employee link to it. So there is another user we can use, Brody Smith. I'll just reset her password. was pasting it, it was not taking. So this time we are logged in as Brody Smith, and we'll go in and do the same transaction. We'll do one, and then the rest of the transactions, when you try it, you can use the same user for trying out your transaction. And remember one thing: whenever you are entering any journals, the value of the journals, they must um, the journal period that must be open in which you are going to be posting it.
So for this user, what will be the password?
Same password. I have kept the same password. SRSM. You have the password, right?
Yes.
Yeah, same password. So this set is probably gone bad. So that's okay. But when you guys try it, we'll do one manual one to double check. So this time what I'll do, I'll not enter any journal batch, okay, details here. I'll leave that blank. I'll directly go here. See, this is, it got auto approved. Okay, this $1,000. So if we now go back and look at our journal, So this is our SP batch 1, batch 2, batch 3. Okay. Now we didn't enter any batch name, right? Journal batch name. There was nothing there. Okay. So this was the $1,000 transaction we just now did, cash and HDFC Bank. Okay. So both are now done. Next is, if you see here, yeah, let me just go back to that one more time. We didn't enter any journal batch name. What the system did is picked up what we said here, SP journal, okay, and put it here along with the date and timestamp. Okay, and it was manual entry, and this is how it was done. Now if you look at our journals along with the approvals that we, okay, the other one was our US primary ledger batch. Okay, so this is the US primary ledger batch. So there were two journals, two ledgers, RCSLA Euro and the SP journal as the US ledger batch. So this is the RCSLA Euro and this is the primary ledger. Okay, and against this is the one for the US primary ledger. So where you have the USD, and this is the one, the journal, SP journal. This is what we had entered, remember? And system appended the journal name to the batch. All right. And if you look at your balances here, this one, see, before beginning was this. In this period, we did $1,000 debit. So it will increase the amount to 591,469. You see this 591,469. So 590 plus 1,000, it has made it 591,469 here. Okay, for this particular account. Similarly, if you look at, this was journal 1, this is the second line. Triple 104. In the beginning there was no activity, then we did $1,000 credit, so the net is $1,000 credit. So this is the period. When you look at the quarter, and then you have the year to date. Obviously, if the month, nothing is there for the quarter, and it's not going to be there, but okay, and you could have different figures for the quarter and a different figure for the year. All right. So the year takes into account the entire year, quarter for the quarter, and period is for the month. Default, whichever period, whatever duration you are having. All right. Now, when you let me just show you that also while we are here. That is that unbalanced journal. So here we'll make it 1200, and in the second line, okay. So now we have 1200 and 800. So we'll get a message, say yes, then we'll post it. So what we have done is a unbalanced journal, SP journal 2. So while we wait for that approval to come in, you can go in and check how the approval happened. Okay, so it went to Kerry Lane. Okay. So it will have to go to Kerry Lane again. Kerry Lane's password. I don't know. Let's see if we can reset it. So even Kerry Lane's password we can reset to, and then RSM, same password, 79966. 79966. RSM 79966. So this was, see, this one is that 1200, 800. So it's asking for the approval, and we go and approve it. Now, if you notice here, if you go to the journals, manage journal, this is that SP journal 2, 1200, it has got posted. Now see, there is an additional $400 suspense line that has been added by the system. Okay, so we usually have the balance journals. So balance journal meaning debit and credit is equal. In this case, when we entered it, we knew that there was a difference between the debit and the credit, right? And we did it purposely. Generated or not? Hello? Hello?
Yes, Saurabh.
Hello?
You can hear, Saurabh.
So the debit and credit over here is matching up. Are you all able to hear me?
Yes, Saurabh.
Yes, sir.
Saurabh, I'll log off. It's getting late for me. I'll join the next class.
Hello?
We can hear you, sir.
Okay. Okay. So from the debit and credit perspective, the debit and credit must match always for any journal. Yeah, Santosh, you were saying something. I couldn't.
It's getting late. I'll log off. It's already 9:10. I'll continue next class.
Okay, okay. We are also done. So you can please, when you get a chance, please do the journals in
Okay.
the system. Okay.
Thank you.
So we'll stop here, guys. Uh, Amit, please look
Yeah,
at video for the earlier part
yeah.
and